Hey everyone, I've been getting asked this a lot, so I just thought I'd go through my review of the Superior Singing Method by Anastasi. This has gotten really popular. I mean, with all the shows on right now, with The Voice and um, X Factor and all these kinds of singing competition shows, even the vocal a cappella shows. Learning to sing has really gotten to be a big deal, and people are seeing it's a real way to have some fun and have a career as well. So I want to take a review of this Superior Singing Method by Anastasi. First of all, who is this guy? He has been around forever, teaching everybody. What I really like about him is he's taught everybody from complete newbies to Grammy winners. He's worked with a lot of Grammy-winning producers, and if you look around, you've probably seen some ads for him online. It is, according to a lot of services, the #1 rated online singing lessons program. So let's dive into it and see what this is all about. First of all, what I really liked about Aaron's approach in this method, the premise is that basically he looks at it as vocal cords are muscles, almost kind of like an athlete. So it's kind of teaching singing is like how you teach athletes to get in shape and perform. And there's been a whole lot of new breakthroughs with that, with things like P90X. And I see a lot of similar things in terms of how he looks at vocal cord training and really learning to strengthen and coordinate those muscles. And by breaking up the kinds of training and not getting into routines and hitting certain plateaus, again, just like you would look at sort of meatheads and bodybuilders. It might be a funny way to think about it, but that's really what's happening with vocal training. So he really looks at it as vocal cords are muscles. They're made of cartilage and tissue, just like any other muscle, and they really are muscles in our body. So let's train them that way. So what does that do for us? Well, with working on the actual physical aspects of your vocal cords, you can improve things like pitch, like tone, like your vocal power, just the strength and the power of your voice gets stronger, as you might imagine. And in addition, with that power comes control, because the more power you have in your voice, then you'll learn to control that as well. The resonance, I think, is a real key thing. That was something that was really big to me, was the whole idea of the sound of your voice and the resonance, and using different resonance chambers was something I really learned from this course. Vocal agility. Another thing, again, with training your vocal cords as muscles, you learn to be more agile, just as any athlete would. And of course, something that everybody's always interested in is increasing your range, both top and bottom. How do you expand your range? And you might think there's limits to it, but again, if you think of your vocal cords as muscles and they have to do certain things to hit certain pitches, you can train them to go beyond where you're currently at. So that's kind of the premise of the course and kind of what it's about. Let's take a look at the course outline. The first thing you do is really this idea of this 5-20-80 principle that teaches you to avoid straining as you sing. And this really comes in right away, step one, and just general training to improve your tone, your agility, and your strength overall. I'm not going to get into it here because it's kind of giving the course away, but this 5-20-80 principle really helps you with increasing your range and your tone and your vocal power and everything while not straining your voice to do it. We've all been through coaches and techniques and things that cause you to start to really strain your voice, and that's not what this is about. So we don't want to do that. We're also going to do address in step two, start to get into some problems that people run into, like pitch, shakiness, high notes, those sorts of things. So we're really going to look at the best performance habits here and give you optimum singing performance in step two. And step three, you're going to get video and audio exercises to work on your tone. And this is where the resonators really come in, sort of the head resonators, the chest resonators, getting them all working together, and how to really, as you'll learn later, we talk about the mixed voice and how you put that all together. So you're going to get superior techniques to make sure that you're always on pitch, even if you weren't born with perfect pitch. It's going to show you how you can develop that. And this is a favorite section of this this technique by a lot of people as we've gone through and reviewed people about this. Then in step five, you're going to get into that the resonance and power. really key sections of the technique. So this is where you really sort of get into, you've developed your tonality and some of your agility and sort of like that. Now you're going to learn how to really get your voice out there and project. And then finally, we're going to get into this part, again, that was a big hit for all of us here, which was the mixed voice. And this is really getting into how to use those resonators to improve your range, how to do that without straining. We were amazed at some of the improvements we had in that area when we really learned how to use the mixed voice. Agility. This is an area we will admit we still really need a lot of work on, but there's a lot of great work here on helping with ease and fluidity and doing some of those runs that you hear some people do. And maybe you're not that kind of singer and it doesn't come natural to you, but you've got that big, powerful voice. This will really help you with really being relaxed and learning how to use your voice in a fluid way. And again, that gets into vocal cord training and muscle training and that sort of thing to really help you with that. And finally, there's advanced techniques at the end. So if you sort of have gotten this far and you feel like, oh, I've heard all this and I've taken private vocal lessons and you've done a lot of this work, there's a lot of advanced techniques that you really get into that he works with the on the Grammy producing side, as you can imagine. So it really does get into some very advanced level techniques. So that's the course outline. What we like, if you couldn't tell already, we've been talking about it for quite a bit, is really the mixed voice. That was the part that really kind of resonated with us. No pun intended there, but it really does get into being from the East Coast. As you can tell by my speaking voice, I tend to get really nasal, but it really sort of helped me learn how to use the chest cavity, abdominal cavity as resonators, as well as the head as a cavity. And I am fighting a cold with my voice today, so I apologize for that. But the mixed voice was a big hit with us in terms of what we really liked about this training program. If there's something you're going to ask us, well, what didn't you like? What's not so great about it? For us, there's a very specific progression that this course is laid out, and Aaron really wants you to work through in that progression. And whether it's the creative artist in us or what, sometimes we're not the best at being rigid and don't always like following a specific program. Sometimes we like to jump around, or maybe at the beginning I sort of felt like, oh, I already know about that, I can skip that. But it's really designed to work step 1 through step 8, as we sort of outlined earlier, and sort of make that specific progression. And if you do work with that, you'll find at the end that it really pays off. But if you jump around, you might not get all the benefit you want. But it isn't like that isn't there to be sharing and to be learning from. You can get a lot if you do jump around, but you'll get a lot more if you really follow a specific progression. I guess that's the best way I can put it. And so that's the thing. There's I wouldn't call it rigidity, but there's a certain program you should follow and you need to follow to work with this. It isn't like going to a private lesson where each week maybe you say, oh, I feel this way or I feel that way, and you float around. There's a real technique and a real progression to this that you need to be following. So finally, our overall thoughts there are a number of things online that you can look at to help you with your vocal capabilities and with your voice and with training. But overall, this is the most complete course that we've seen. It really is a complete vocal training course that covers everything from things like pitch and range and some of the usual things that people are looking to, but it gets into agility, it gets into the tonality and the resonance, and really gets into control. And by control, I mean more than agility, but breath control and all that sort of thing. So it really does take people from, just being somebody who sings, maybe they think they sing really well on their own, but really helping them become more artists. So we really like it. Of course, the big, question here is, this, people ask us all the time, this between private lessons. And if you found a private a private tutor that you're really in love with, of course, private lessons are a way to go. But as you also know, they're very expensive and they're on a weekly basis. And really, if you're trying to get started in this and you don't have the kind of money to pay for private tutors, this is the next best thing. It really is, because this is all video training and audio training. It's like you have your coach right there. You get to see it, you get to hear it, you get to repeat it. There are workbooks. It really is a complete course. So there isn't anything that you would be missing out. So really our overall thoughts is we can really highly recommend the superior singing method, and feel like you should go check it out. There should be probably some links here around this video to go look at it and see what Aaron has to say. I think there's even some free lessons on his site, but definitely this is worth taking a look at. So go check it out and sing well. And that's it. The end of this review.